Guys, welcome back to the channel. I know you guys have been waiting for this video for a few weeks now, and I'm happy to finally be making it for you. If you're new here, you probably don't know that a few weeks ago, my buddy let me borrow this bike to do a review on it. This is the all-new 2025 BMW S1000RR, and while I had it and reviewed that video, I surprised him with a full titanium exhaust, a few nice little bits like the smoked windscreen, mirror block-offs, and the BT Moto Stage 1 Flash and Tune. The question I get asked the most since we've shot that video is, how much better is the bike now that it's Flash and Tune? Well, let's find out.
All right, so let's go ahead and just talk about the first thing that everybody wants to know. Is the S1000 still a chump under 8,000 RPM? Is there the delay? Is it so laggy? There's so many things that I hate about this bike. Not the S1000, but just any stock bike in general. If you guys seen the first review, then you already know the bike is laggy, it's delayed. You give it a handful of throttle and it takes like 4, 5, 6 seconds just to get it up there and start moving out of its own way. First impressions, I can already tell you, since the Flash and Tune, it is not only cleaned up a lot, but it's just so much smoother, and every time you touch the throttle, it feels so much more direct. So yeah, this review is probably going to be real quick if you're only interested in the street portion of it. Yes, it's made the bike a lot more rideable. It's made the bike a lot more confidence-inspiring, but I want to take it to some twisties and see how it performs. Look at that. I didn't even go down a second there. Oh my God. Holy, oh wow. Oh my Lanta, is this thing amazing. You guys have to remember, like, my input on just how good or bad this bike is, like, it's an unbiased, not a Beamer fanboy review, so it takes a lot to impress me with this bike because it is so boring. Don't at me in the comments, please, guys. Like, you just have to understand that I like a bike with a little bit more soul. That being said, I did compare this bike a lot to the RRR, the CBR, you know, pirate bike, because like from the factory, it's so delayed and it's like, you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for the thing to open up. This now is absolutely directed. That's 6th gear. Down to 3rd, hard on the brakes, tipper in, and power's right out. I don't know if you guys see that, but that's like 4,500 RPM in 3rd gear, and it just shoots you right out of the apex. Wow. Chassis is phenomenal. It kind of always has been. You know, it's really nothing bad to talk about the S1000 as far as its handling capabilities, but look, even 5th, just cruising. I'm actually giving it throttle, and it's moving better than it was in 2nd gear, full throttle before. Like, this is a whole new bike, absolutely. And I gotta say, it might be one of Jay's picks. I'm starting to like this bike more and more. Really am. The biggest thing I want to talk about on this bike, and you'd never believe it, but do you know what the selling point is for this bike? Solely for me, it's the shift cam technology. I'm not going to nerd out and try to explain to you exactly what shift cam is, but imagine it's VVT for a bike and it's controllable. BMW's made a way that they can not just make the power up top, but they've actually been able to dial it in to where it can come on stronger down low in the mid-range just by adjusting your valve timing. I know it's it's sorcery if you ask me, but it is so freaking good. Like, there's other bikes in the segment that do use it. There's other bikes that, you know, they're just absolutely amazing and make a crap ton of power up top. But where this bike shines and really impresses me is the fact that it's no longer like a two-stroke power band. You have power everywhere in the mid-range. Now, is it Super Duke-esque levels of torque down low? No. But you can substantially feel the amount of power you have at like 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. Usually on an inline 4, if you're in like third gear doing 40 miles an hour, you could just give it a handful, and you would have to wait for that delay of making its power up in the top end. With this bike, you do not. Like, once it's unlocked and tuned, it is literally so direct. Look, I'm riding in Race Pro 1. We've got TC on -3. I even have street pressures on this bike. I haven't dropped them down to, you know, more spirited riding or like track day pressures. Like, this is pretty much a bone stock bike with an exhaust, the flash and tune, and some nice, you know, aesthetic bits. But I can't recommend this flash and tune enough, dude. Like, this is crazy how much better this bike is. But in my opinion, it sold me on it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I was not really a fan. I love the looks, but I was not really a fan of this bike before. After riding it now, I would buy one. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big Panigale V4 fan, but one of the biggest things I love with the Panigales and the Euro bikes over the inline 4, you know, and the S1000 is because they've got more soul and feel down low. This bike now has a soul. This bike absolutely has a soul down low. And, oh my God, dare I say it, but I think this thing would dust off a Panigale V4. I mean, yeah, you guys see in World Superbike and everybody racing them. That's not apples to apples because that's a budget of how much you have to spend on race parts and upgrades. Us mere mortals, we just want a bare bones bike. Yeah, maybe we'll put a couple grand into it, but basically we want the best bang for the buck, and everybody's budget's different. There's a lot of YouTubers that you see, oh, this is the fastest roll racing bike. Of course, if you take a 100 horsepower 600 and you throw a turbo on it and more power adders and mods, like, it's not even going to be close to a 600 anymore. So in my opinion, like, that all turns into like a pissing contest of how much money you have to spend on your bike. And we just want something that, you know, you throw a little bit, unlock it. You don't even need the exhaust on this bike. The #1 comment has been, oh, that's a Temu or a cheap looking exhaust. Listen, guys, I get it. It's not your look. That's fine. The sound, if you did not look at it and you heard the sounds riding this bike, you would absolutely think it's the best exhaust in the world. I don't know how to explain it, but the Acra, too loud and has like almost like a tinny sound to it. This thing just has like such a deep growl. Hold on a second, guys. But this thing has like such a deep growl and a good sound. You get the pops, you know, on D-cell. Now, you will probably lose those once you do like a smog block off and you delete the secondary air system. I know, everybody likes the cool sound, but noises and flames ain't always the best for performance if you didn't know that. But one big thing I do want to talk about is in the next episode on this bike, we're going to be dynoing it. I'm sorry, we're not going to get like a baseline before the flash and tune, but we are going to be doing more mods after the fact. So I want to get like our baseline now. I want to see what this bike's making now with the full system exhaust and the stage 1 flash and tune from BT Moto. And then after that, we'll do more power adders. We'll actually do the air filter, the IAT relocation kit. We're going to do the velocity stacks. We're going to do more mods on it and see, you know, just how good we can get this thing. If you're new to my channel and you don't know who I am, I don't give 2 cents about numbers, okay? I care about a bike's rideability. Like dyno to dyno, day to day, it's all different. Different variables can change so much when it comes to using a dyno as a tool. So the unfortunate truth is, like, say I go dyno this bike right now. If I go dyno it tomorrow, same dyno, different conditions, it could be different numbers, different AFR. Like it's not the same every day. We're gonna take it to our local guys here, awesome people. Maybe you've heard of them, TSC Industries. I'm good friends with those guys. So we're actually gonna use those guys' dyno to do the testing and see how it makes now as I'm riding it. And then when we get the mods, we'll go ahead and we'll do it. We will talk more about what those numbers mean and, you know, where you benefit the most from increases, and you might not be slower if there's decreases. What I mean by that is that if a dyno graph, like say it has like a little dip, if it's abrupt, then it's of course not good. But I'm saying like where you feel like you could make more power, but it may be lacking, is not necessarily a bad thing because it's about rideability. So the bike may be, say, a little slower, a little less power in certain spots, but the rideability increases. And that's what it's about. Damn, this thing is so good. It is so freaking good. I'm literally eating my words on the first review. Yeah, this bike has definitely changed my mind, man. It is really good. Now, I will say one gripe, and it's not a gripe with this bike, it's a gripe that seems to be with like the common segment of modern day leader bikes. You know, ABS, all that jazz, like they're super heavy. I know not heavy compared to like a Harley or even an H2, you know, they're sub 500 pounds, mid 400s, but you have to understand, like, my riding style, I like throwing a bike around, and when you're used to like an RC8 that's sub 400 pounds full of gas, or a middleweight or a 400 around the track, like, you do feel the weight on these bikes. That is not a gripe towards the S1000. That is just one of my negatives, if you would. I mean, to be honest, I do feel like in race trim, you know, we shaved 15, 16 pounds just on the exhaust. I feel like we could get another 10 to 20 pounds losing the headlights, the ABS, all that stuff. This bike in a 400-pound package, you know, like what we can do to the R1s, like this bike would be not just a contender, but this bike would be absolutely unbeatable in my opinion. Like, the CBR, you know, the CBR 1000RR-R SP Fireblade R, you know, shout out Johnny Depp Pirate Bike. That bike is an absolute missile in a straight line. It is super fast, no doubt about it. But in my opinion, the chassis is garbage. I don't know if you look at a picture of like the Triple R, but it seems like it has longer stanchions, almost like dirt bike suspension on the bike. I mean, it's great. It takes turns well, but you would expect so much more out of that bike, especially when the S1000, the Gixxer 1000, the ZX10, all these other inline 4 bikes, like, they might handle like high center of gravity turds with 200 horsepower, but you can tune it out. I spent almost $3,000 on my suspension and could not get the Honda to feel good. It just, I don't know how to explain it. And honestly, guys, that's why I didn't shoot any of those videos for you guys, because every video I tried to make on the Honda, it was a negative review, and I'm not a negative person. I hate putting that out on the internet, so I was not about to do that. I do love Honda. I do love the looks of the bike, but in my opinion, you could not pay me to race one. It's just, it doesn't fit me. The bike feels very balanced, which is good for a street bike, but when you're in corners, you like a bike that when you barely touch it, it starts to dive and really give you that feel that you're carving the corner, right? Oh, the Honda just didn't do that for me. It was like really numb in the front end, and you always felt like you were going to lose the front when you started going in super hot. So I have to say, coming from that perspective of somebody that's owned many modern day superbikes, the BMW is quickly becoming the top of my list. I will agree with everybody that did say something about the cruise control on the Panigale V4. Yes, as a street bike, that is a pretty big deal breaker. If no bikes had it, I don't think anybody would care. But because so many bikes come with cruise control standard, it's it's kind of a deal breaker. Now, I do think that the Ducati you can add on cruise control, but the fact that they're making you pay for it is another, in my opinion, bad taste in my mouth. Like, that should be standard when bikes like this are completely standard. Like, this isn't even, the M model, the top of the line. This is basically a base model with the electronic suspension and a few, other upgrades. Like, just options. It's not, yes, it's an expensive motorcycle, but this bike was sub 25 grand. This bike was about 23K out the door as you see it, and I would not hesitate to go buy this over a V4 base or, anything else in that 25K mark. It's like stock for stock. Yeah, I would take the Panigale V4, but once you unlock it and flash it, you'd have to take the Beamer, right? Because even, like, let me put it this way, even if the bikes are so neck and neck and, like, let's say they're the same, right? Same performance, same weight, same feeling, same everything. The biggest difference is money. The Panigale V4 is more expensive, but on aftermarket parts, you have Ducati tax. An exhaust for this, you can get a full titanium exhaust for $2,000 or less. This JC Handmade, I think he sells these for like $1,500. So it's like, you can get a really good bargain for the money you spend on the BMW. On the Panigale, you'd be lucky to even get a slip-on for $2,000, but you aren't touching full headers and all that stuff. Now, I will say, hey, shout out to my boy JC. If you guys do have a Panigale V4, check out JC Handmade, man. He's the one that makes these exhausts, and his whole outlook is, let's make full titanium, high-performance exhausts affordable. Most of his exhausts are half price compared to what you would pay on, like, any other brand. So yeah, shameless plug. Also, this is the perfect time to bring up the sponsor of this video. This video is sponsored by me. Yes, guys, we did it. We launched a freaking merch line, and honestly, like, I've done this for a long time. If you guys have followed me since the beginning, you've probably seen, like, my logo, the Beard Moto logo, all that stuff. So of course we're doing that bigger and better, all that jazz. But I have started my company, Bello Moto, where we build crazy things right here in America. So if you want to support it or support the channel, we don't do GoFundMes, Patreons, buy me a coffee here. The way that you can show your support and love for the channel and help us out is buy some merch. I promise you this, we already have a few giveaways on the back burner and behind the scenes. So we were just waiting to go live. Now that we're going live, like, we're gonna have a giveaway starting, if not next episode, the episode after that. So even if you want to wait to buy something, at least get to the website and, like, check out what we have. We have some really cool stuff. Like, we have a one-of-one limited edition. We're only making 100 of these hats for the RC8. So if you're here for the RC8 content, you know that that's the only one in the world. So why not have the only one hat to match it? Also, we got some slick, like, military line clothing. We got, like, gunny hats. We've got our cool, like, work tees. We got this new bitchin', check this out, man. We got this really cool, like, Rising Sun edition shirt that we did. Like, we're doing a lot more collabs. We're doing a lot bigger things this year. So let's get back to the shop, and I'll give you my thoughts.
All right, let's talk about the 2025 S1000RR post review after the flash tune and full system exhaust. I have to say, I wouldn't even have given this bike a second look if I was in the market for a new leader bike. I would definitely, like, Panigale V4 all the way. If you want an exotic bike or, like, a reward to yourself for making it, that good accomplishment feeling, the Panigale is definitely the bike for you. It's like buying a Bugatti without spending Bugatti money. But This bike, I have to say, now after the Flash and Tune, if you don't at least go sit on one or take a look at one in person, if you're in the market for buying a new leader bike, if you don't give this thing the time of day, you're really missing out. I can't emphasize this enough that I am not a BMW fanboy, but somebody that's now experienced it stock versus other stock bikes and now unlocked in its full potential. There's even more we can do on it. Like, this isn't even its full potential and it's this good. It's on Bridgestone stock S23 battle axes. This thing's gonna have better tires, more grip, you know, better chassis setup, and actually spending the time dialing it in. And this thing is already a complete game changer. It's already a rocket ship. It's such a good bike. Like, seriously, I can't even say it enough. The bike has impressed me. It is a really good bike, and I think right now, if you're spending $25,000, you can buy this exact bike, do the mods that we have, and go keep up or dust off any bike on the road. Absolutely 10 out of 10 for me. And I never thought in a million years I'd be saying that after the first episode and knowing what I know about these bikes, but I'm happy to say I absolutely love the bike. I don't really have the urge to buy another Superbike anytime soon, but this thing definitely has got me thinking about it. It is really the best do-all motorcycle now. Now you have all your performance, now you have all your creature features, your comforts, your cruise control, your everything, your turn-by-turn navigation, all kinds of really cool creature features, but in that package of being comfortable and Super Duke level of just blow your eyebrows off performance, man, it's a really great bike. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe, because next episode, we're gonna have this thing on the dyno and see just how much power it makes. And we have some really cool giveaways as well. So check out the merch store. There's a link in the description below, and we'll see you next week.